The Democrats are now looking for a makeover after Kamala's embarrassing loss and completely overhaul their image as the party of woke elites who want to police your pronouns. Former Democratic lawmaker Tim Ryan is offering this advice.
Our brand is toxic in so many places, and it's like, you're a Democrat? Like, that's the stuff we get, like, in Ohio. And so we need a complete reboot. We need a complete reboot with the DNC. We need a complete rebranding. We got to get back established into our values. What does it mean to be a Democrat? People want to trust us. They don't want to go to Donald Trump. I'm telling you, the middle of the road, people are like holding their nose to vote for him, but we did not give them enough.
Wow. But James Carville fears it might be too late for a makeover, and Kamala blowing nearly $2 billion has caused irreparable damage.
These fundraisers are burnt. They're really pissed now. And the damage that the 2024 campaign has done, the damage that this decade has done to the Democratic brand is almost unfathomable. We're going to audit the campaign. We're going to audit Future Forward. We're going to audit the DNC. So people can know. But I'm telling you, without complete transparency, $2.5 billion. Do you have any idea where that money went?
Yes.
All right, Jessica, he says $2.5 billion, billion dollars, right?
Like...
Is Carville right? I mean, has Kamala done this unfathomable damage in terms of, you know, is it because of her as a candidate to the Democrat Party, or is it because of the money that she wasted and is still trying to raise?
I think that there are a lot of factors that contributed to the loss, and I don't think it's fair to just put it on Kamala when Biden was clearly such a part of this, right? The timeline goes back a year ahead when he could have bowed out and said, I was supposed to be a bridge to the next generation. We have a primary or a mini primary or something, and maybe Kamala is the one that wins. That's completely feasible. She has experience as vice president. She might have been selected, but I don't think it's fair to just crush her with this.
Well, she was the candidate.
I understand, but it's always bigger than just one person, what goes on and the kind of messaging that comes
Trump
out with
was
different...
all about Trump.
Yes, he was and continues to be, and I wish
Thank
him
goodness.
well on
Yes.
his second term. I understand what Tim Ryan is talking about. Sherrod Brown, who has been extremely successful statewide in Ohio until this last election. Yes, I know that he lost, but these are people who have genuine working class bona fides and a good way of talking about it. And that's, I think, really the main takeaway from this. Every demographic group, Democrats underperformed with, except people with a college degree and a postgraduate degree. So that's obviously something we need to work on. But we also picked up and held key Senate seats, and that shouldn't be ignored. And seats like Jared Golden and Pat Ryan, very competitive seats. So it wasn't like Democrats got rejected across the board.
Well, the Republicans have the House, the Senate, and the Oval, so it's a pretty big rejection. But let me ask you this, Jesse. Tim Ryan, why did it take a loss for him to come out and now say, you know, we've got to be more into what the working American is worried about? I mean, didn't he realize that he was part of the con himself with, you know, what Drag Queen Story Hour and men and women's sports? I mean, all of a sudden, oh, now we get it.
Well, it's like when someone breaks up with you, you start looking inward. Was it something I did? Every time you lose, whether it's a football team or anybody, you look at the tape, you figure out what you did wrong, and then you try to win the next time. But I love how this government burns through trillions of dollars. And Kamala burns through just $2.5 billion, and everyone's like looking for every penny. Yeah. Why are tax tellers that we pay, that's not sacred, but donors lose money, and all of a sudden everyone's like, oh my God, where'd the money go? We burn through, what is it, $35 trillion in debt? Come on. The Democrats don't even want to open the books, but she's in debt, and they're like all accountants now. I don't like that. Jessica, we'll follow the money, and this is where some of it went. You guys keep saying you were going to knock on all these doors in Pennsylvania, but you were doing it on Sunday afternoons during the Eagles games. Everybody was slamming the door in your face. Guess what was free?
My mother's face had no door slamming.
Okay, well, that's because she's a beautiful woman. No one would ever do that. But a lot of people rejected the expensive door knockers. I don't know why she did that when Rogan was free. Why would you diss Rogan, who was free, and then pay Oprah $1 million?
Do you think Rogan would have saved her, honestly?
How about this? Hannity, does he charge $1 million for a Trump town hall? Al Sharpton, why'd she spend $500,000 on Al Sharpton? Why'd she spend $1 million on Bruce Springsteen? Bruce Springsteen is a billionaire. If he wanted to help her, why didn't he do the concert for free?
Yep.
She was either getting shaken down behind her back and didn't know it, she was paying off her allies, or this was a big money laundering operation. Imagine how she would have been as president.
Yeah, what a thrill. Dana, where do the Democrats go from here? Because right now they're talking about people who have real name recognition, whether it's AOC or Gavin Newsom. Does it have to be a new kind of Democrat candidate?
Well, I think that chaos loves a vacuum, and it will continue until somebody steps up. And one thing about Tim Ryan is that he has been saying that, but no one listened to him. When he ran for president on the Democratic side in the primary, he was saying all of those things, and the left laughed him out of the room and said, there is no room for you in this party. So he has been outside. It's like throwing rocks against the White House door saying, but somebody should listen to me. He used to talk about especially the working class. And they ignored him, and then they paid a price for it. So I don't know who emerges. There is a guy from Wisconsin. His last name is Wickler. Can't remember his first name.
Ben.
He's Ben. So he's the state party chairman in Wisconsin. And he's kind of the first person to step up and say, I'll do it. I have an idea. I have a message. But one of the things that they're going to have to do is figure out a way to deal with these left-wing dark money groups that were funding all of these activities and pushing the party farther and farther to the left. I don't know how they break that, but they have to do that. They have to deal with the fact that they've lost the working class. How do you get them back? What's the agenda? What are you going to say? What are you going to do? What are you going to say? And now they can't do anything for a while because, as you pointed out, the Republicans won the White House, the House, and they kept the House, barely, admittedly, but they have more people in the Senate. And also now we have all of these court cases coming through with the conservative court. So the Republicans are well positioned to do well and to keep doing well. They have political capital to spend, and if they spend it wisely, the Democrats might be shut out for another cycle.
Very well said. All right, Charlie, what about the fact that it seems that Bernie Sanders and even James Carville are kind of on the Doge, level? We need to look at this stuff. We need to dig deep. I mean, isn't that a good sign?
I think it is a good sign, and I think it's recognition that Donald Trump his agenda is not some right-wing agenda. His agenda is very much a common sense agenda that if you actually put the Trump derangement syndrome aside and actually listen to it and pay attention, it's actually a really good unifying message. And I think that, for Republicans going forward, if Donald Trump actually makes good on a lot of his agenda items, I think that he could be looking at doing the truly unthinkable. He's already done the unthinkable by beating not one, but two incumbents, basically, if you call Hillary Clinton kind of an incumbent. Two incumbents with half as much money as the other person. This is unthinkable in politics. But he could also undo the other curse, which is that the party in power in the White House always loses massively in the first midterms. He could undo it if he made good on these agenda items that people like Bernie Sanders applauds. The problem with the Democrat Party, I think, is so much deeper than I think anybody even realizes at the moment. They are, and it's the problem with if you have a identity politics DEI party, which is what this is, and and she was the perfect candidate for that. She was a terrible candidate, but she was the best they could come up with. She didn't get 75 million votes. 75 million people voted for her because they didn't like Donald Trump. She didn't earn a single one of them. And I think that the problem really for the party goes back many years, and I think that Barack Obama kind of managed to sort of paper over those problems, by trying to put this racial coalition together because he was kind of cool. And Democrats can't find another cool candidate, and it's not going to be Kamala Harris. I don't know who it's going to be. And I think Bernie Sanders is too old now, and I don't think it's going to be AOC because she's too left-wing.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.